welcome to Attention Span Labs. I'm your host, Michael A. DiBaggio, and we're going to do another battle report today, another battle from balmy Pellucidar, because my last battle commanding the Americans, I lost and was unable to take control of town. The American advance has been halted, and other parts of the line were exposed, and Germans were able to consolidate, and they're going to be doing, you can see the American line here. This is the American defense of Van Tassel's Junction, which was another part of the battle line, and near Gorbusgarten. And the Germans will be making a major thrust to try and break through the lines here. Because the Americans are dug in a little bit. There was a battle here. They were able to cross and set up and control this area a day or two ago, but their lines have been halted, and they don't have the forces to roll through here to secure their advance. They know they've been taking some fire, some artillery fire, and some pot shots here, but they've been told to dig in and wait for the this force is a combination of U.S. and CS. It's Confederate states. There's a Confederate squad and a Confederate Stuart light tank, and they're the U.S. Army troops, and they're waiting for more forces and supplies which haven't caught up yet, but they're about to get hit by a surprised heavy German thrust. I'll have the combined American forces will have 10 order dice, and the German forces will have 13. Commanding the forces again will be Russ, and joining him will be Nicholas, and they will be. Are you splitting the force in any particular way? Is one commanding the armor and infantry, or you just have split forces?
No, just kind of split forces. Yeah. I have mostly armor. He has mostly infantry. And
all right, so we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this ball rolling, and then we're gonna we'll stop back in probably at the end of turn or at every significant event that happens, and we're actually gonna start up. The Germans get a preliminary bombardment, so we'll check back in when that's resolved. Okay, so a quick overview of my forces. I have a 5-man Confederate squad dug in on the left side of the road in foxholes. I have a Stuart light tank on the right side. Across the bridge, they are all in ambush already. I have a American U.S. Hellcat in ambush. And then I have a paratrooper squad. They're sort of bivouacked here. They have no orders. A 6-man power armor unit, a 2-man command unit, a lieutenant in power armor, and a heavy mortar team. Off the table, I have a Pershing, a pond skater, which is amphibious, and we'll talk about the amphibious rules in a bit. But the units, other walkers and infantry can cross the river other than at the bridge, but at a certain penalty. And there's a dust. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I forget what it's called, but it has a medium mortar on the turret, and each of those 4 rockets. So the medium mortar can fire indirect. The rockets must fire direct, but they're equivalent to a heavy mortar, and they'll be in reserve. So we're going to roll now for preliminary bombardment. So, Russ, you're gonna roll.
Yep.
Which unit are you targeting first?
I was just gonna roll them all at once and then assign, but
No.
okay.
Because then you'll put all your best shots on my.
Yes.
No, that's not how it works.
Well, we'll just start with the Stuart.
Start with the Stuart. Okay.
3.
All right. That was close. The unit takes 1 pin marker. All right. So just put the dice near it for now, and then we'll assign the pins at the end.
All right.
And they're going to take -1 from the roll.
So it would be 2. So I'll just move it, make it a 2.
2. That was close. The unit takes 1 pin marker. All right. What next?
Hellcat.
All right.
1. So nothing.
That's miles away. No effect.
All right. Power armor. Ooh, 6.
6. Okay. 5. I can't take it anymore. The unit takes 2 pin markers. All right.
On a 6-man, I can't even take injuries.
Oh no! Wait. Sorry. It was a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't. So incoming unit takes 2 pin markers and 1 automatic hit with a 3+ penetration value. So we'll work that out later.
Okay.
All right.
1 on the mortar, so nothing.
Nothing.
Lieutenant and his band, 5.
So he gets 2 pin markers.
All right.
And
now
then
the infantry squad.
Yeah.
2.
So that's Miles, and so he takes 1 pin marker as well.
All right, so
All right. We'll resolve the. I'll tell you what the resolution is at the end of the turn, or when the next thing happens. All right. Check back in a bit. We are at the end of turn 1, and the Germans got the first bloody nose. The Puma advanced up the road and was tried to ambush first by the Stuart, which failed, and then was ambushed again by the Hellcat, which knocked it out. The German units in ambush stayed in ambush, but pretty much all the other ambushing, I was able to bring in every single one of my reserve units. There was some fire exchanged with the Panther. The Panther fired at the Pershing, missed. We targeted mortar fire from here at the Panther. The first Panther, that also missed. The Stuart and the Hanomag with the light with the door knocker exchange fire. They both rolled they both had the exact same scores to roll, and they both missed. So not much to report. I did before I go on the preparatory bombardment. These units took the worst. They took 2 pins, and they could have taken a casualty, but they didn't roll high enough because thank for that 6. These guys had their pin, and then I tried to advance them, but they rolled a foobar, and they would have rolled a friendly fire, but luckily there was no enemy within 12 inches, so they just went down. They did not clear that out. Everybody else cleared off their pins. Stewart did eventually react fire, clear off 1 pin, but the last move of the turn was the Nicholas and his werewolves in. A lot of German units were not able to come in this turn. They failed their rolls, but the werewolves ran on, and they got ambushed by the Confederates dug in here, and they were not able to kill any, but they put 2 pin markers on. I only see 1 pin marker. Oh no, okay, all right, they're there. But these also have werewolf commander, whatever his name is. There we haven't. He's from the Secrets of the Third Reich line. So we're about to begin turn 2, and it's probably going to get very hot very soon. But certainly, first blood to the Americans. Can they hold the line? The end of turn 2, and the American lines have held strong. It's a bad day for the Germans. A lot of pin markers, a lot of burning vehicles. So in no particular order, there was an American unit destroyed. The Confederate Stuart was taken out. What took it out? Oh, yeah. By the Yellow Rose of Lohar. Panzer Princess sniped it, took it out. But earlier in the turn, it exchanged fire with the Hanomag, with the door knocker. The Hanomag missed, but the Stuart blew it up. Was taken out. A daring motorcycle raid was made from the flank here. Came in from this road. This Fallschirmjäger unit with the medium machine gun came, opened fire on the brave Southrons in their pillboxes, and he rolled all 1s and 2s. So not effective fire for my dug-in men. They opened fire on him and smoked him, literally. My pond skater advanced across the river and got on the side, and he was able to lay some more pin fire on the werewolves and killed one of them. But they're at 3 pins now, so lots of fire was exchanged between the Hellcat and the lead Panther, which has about 17 pins on it now.
Yep.
Fired on the. Sorry, panic too fast. Fired on the Pershing, missed. Pershing fired on it. I think hit but didn't do any damage. And the Hellcat fired.
There's not a pin on it.
Okay, yeah, and then I thought this hit, and then this one, and the Hellcat also fired on it, but missed entirely. So the bridge is holding. I've mobilized my forces. These guys have rallied and moved into position, or they've advanced. The key thing that happened though You can see they got all bunched up there as they had to because there was those vehicles destroyed on the road. So they had to start moving out, and Germans were bringing forces across. But the next to last order, my last order of the turn, the commander here cashed in an artillery request chit, so he could re-roll. Didn't need to re-roll. Cut a 5, fire for effect. He called for it, of course, in the middle of that cluster. And interestingly, he called for it. He's pissed off because he called in the order on the front Panther. But so the strike hit. Now that unit of Panzer Grenadiers behind were not on the table yet, so they were not covered. But what was hit by the artillery strike? What was it? An 11-inch range around the Panther, right?
Yep.
So the Panther was hit. The other Panther was hit, and that's Heidi Marie Hawk's Pink Pantheress, which was they demanded to be repainted in camouflage to protect it, and it didn't help it this time. It also hit his command squad there. It hit the Panzerschreck squad unit, and it hit the Stug back there. Indirect fire on everything except for Heidi Marie Hawk's Panther, which was flattened with I think it had
10 hits.
10 hits, and 6 of them penetrated, and it was blown to smithereens. Of course, Heidi Marie escaped. Everybody else took a lot of pins, and I think there is 1, 2, 3. There's 5 pins on that Panther.
Yep.
2 on the command squad, 1 on the Panzerschreck, and 2 on the Stug. All right, so the game will continue. Gentlemen, do you have anything to say about your flawless leadership and your bold command of the German advance here? Speechless. We'll go on with turn 3 in a minute. All right. It is still turn 3, early on in the turn, in fact. And this Confederate heavy Walker, with a medium howitzer and heavy howitzer rockets, had been keeping the Germans in fear they were always afraid to move it out in front of him, and he couldn't actually see anything from where he was. He was in ambush for 3 turns. There was a Panzer Grenadier unit that was in ambush hiding in, there used to be a building there. If you remember from last turn. They moved out, opened fire on the Confederate troops there. They did some damage to them, did some pins. But in response, and he could actually see the building, he opened fire on the building with both the medium howitzer and the heavy howitzer rocket. Both hit. Both were absolutely devastating. We actually did 9 pins before anybody was killed, and then the entire unit was actually killed directly. And then we rolled. The medium howitzer did not take out the building, but through a 3D I rolled 10 hits with the heavy howitzer, so the building is no more. There's just a smoking crater there and 1 corpse. The rest there's not even bone fragments left to the rest of the corpse. So
Let me send it back to Mama.
So the battle continues, but things are not looking good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, also happened is that Panther rallied. It was going to be in pretty good condition. Removed all but 2 pins, but then I got the next pull, and my Pershing opened fire on it. Did a hit. It did not destroy it. It caused it to go fire, but because of all the extra pins, they panicked and were unable to put out the fires, and they abandoned the vehicle. So it counted as destroyed. All right, the beginning of turn 4. Nothing very significant has happened. The main thing is the Germans called, Nicholas had to go home, but Russ called in an artillery strike with his commander, who he did successfully call an artillery strike located, centered on this Pershing. And there was a lot of units around it. Nobody was killed. A lot of pins were done, especially in the mortar team. And then Nicholas brought in his automatic mortar team, which we said the fire is 2 shots. He did hit, so he will hit that on a 2 next turn. But there is now, on my medium mortar, there are 5 pins. The other action, some of his troops moved up. Panzer Grenadiers, Russ moved Panzer Grenadiers up here. I fired on them with the Hellcat. I put some pins on them put a pin on them with a machine gun, and some Panzer Grenadiers moved up there.
Oh, there's a Waffen SS.
The Waffen SS, yeah, they're taking fire up the hill. The Yellow Rose of Lohar fired on my my Pond Skater, which was behind cover at the time, missed. But the Pond Skater then surrounded the hill because those werewolves were moving up on them. and break some more fire down on them in the light cover in the bush. And that is the status of everything for turn 4. Russ, do you have any comments?
No, not now.
What's your strategy now that almost all of your vehicles were knocked out?
I'm not going to tell you.
All right. Are you at home? I hope you're placing bets on the firepower of the North American Combine here to take. Well, actually, they're on the defensive here, so I don't know they'll be taking anything, but maybe we'll swing back in the next battle. All right, so I'll check back with you next turn. Okay, so here's how things stand at the end of 4 turns. I lost my Pawn Skater. Panzer Princess and the Yellow Rose of Lohar took him out. I also lost my mortar team, which was interestingly taken out by the automatic mortar team over there. They were zeroed in, and I rallied. And I thought, maybe I'll get to do some of those mortars. But no, but I had to rally. I wouldn't have even been able to move. So he took them out. My artillery mech did shell the Waffen SS. And I did, I put like 4 pins on them. Mm-hmm. 4 pins on them and actually wiped out half the squad. But because they're fanatic, they did not have to take a morale test. So you're good. The only other thing of note, I think, that happened, these guys tried, they tried to open fire. They failed their test, so they went down. And I'm going to get rid of these guys on ambush. These need, yep. I should have given you those. The Hellcat fired, did some damage to Panzer Grenadier Squad, which sort of ran the cover there. He's moved up the Panzerschreck, and my Pershing fired on the Stug, did a hit, and both immobilized it and did cruciating. So that has how many pins on it?
5.
5 pins on it. So he's running out of vehicles, and we'll see what happens. We only have like 2 more turns, so
we're on turn 5.
We'll see how it goes. All right, just literally seconds later since I recorded the last one, but Russell got the first order die pull. He decided to fire the Stug, even though he had 5 pins on it. And so he needed a 4 or less. And he rolled what? A 2?
3.
Or 3. A 3. So, yeah, so he did fire on the artillery mech, and he missed. Anticlimactic. But we'll check back in a bit, see if his situation improves. We had to end the game early before finishing turn 6. But here's a look at the final disposition of the board. As you can see down here in Desolation Alley, I don't think another turn would have done much for the Germans. They had just a Panzer IV left. And while they did some retribution by taking out the Pawn Skater and the mortar team, the German mortar team took out their opposite member there. There's not a whole lot they could do. They were basically, the infantry wasn't really close enough to do anything. They were running for cover, and almost all of their vehicle support was done. So, there's a view from the German side. A lot of destroyed armor there. The road's even blocked. So, looking less like the great liberation they planned and more like the Ukrainian counteroffensive of this year. So there you go. Definitely a disappointment for the Germans, I'm sure. Russ isn't here. I'm actually filming this on the Friday after, preparing to set the table for the next battle, which will hopefully take place tomorrow. But this engagement has been very swingy. Both times the defense has won. One time the Germans, one time the Americans. This time was a more lopsided victory for the Americans. Germans did not even threaten a breakout here. But despite a whole lot of vehicular firepower, a lot of heavy tanks rolling down the road here, just got smoked by the very good dice rolling for me which is an unusual circumstance. We'll see how my luck holds out next time, but as far as my strategy, I was happy to stay dug in and I had the Hellcat set up in position already, and as soon as I brought the Pershing in, I put it in hold down position, and I had good fields of fire. This is the first time any of us have actually flattened the building using the heavy walker or anything, but that was very fun, very effective. So yeah, the only thing I have to say that I'm glad I did in particular was that it was very tempting near the end to move out of defensive positions and sort of rush in and try and sweep the German infantry away, but I resisted that impulse, and I stayed dug in, took my rallies, took my opportunity fire, and just shored up my defenses. Didn't move out for better shots, which paid off in the end because I was able to destroy the Stug, destroy the last Panther, and I didn't lose too much. The werewolves got very close getting across the river, but they're the closest unit I think that survived to the river, but they were whittled down very heavily by machine gun fire. So my lines were not really threatened at all. What I held at the beginning of the game, I held at the end of the game. Let's say this is a decisive American victory, which will have to be capitalized on by another major offensive in the next match. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. Let me know what you think of the battlefield, of the force dispositions, what you would have done differently, either as attacker or defender. Let me know what kind of battles you want to see in the future. What if you like the units we're using, or if you want to see more of the Weird War units. I think they're going to show up more in the next battle. But always interested to hear your thoughts. And so please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. We're getting close to 2,000 subscribers, so appreciate you watching. Some of you have been watching with me for a long time, so hopefully you enjoy these battle report videos, and I'll deliver more of them. And if you want to see something else too, let me know. Like, I'm not going to promise I'm going to do it, but happy to try new things. So we have some other interesting things scheduled. I have an interview with some guys in the next week or so, which I think you will find interesting, especially if you're interested in vertical terrain building. So stay tuned for that. Good luck, God bless, and Attention Span Labs signing off.